So, this, obviously, two of the greatest guard prospects ever. Sorry, I would say even the two greatest guard prospects ever in the for the WNBA, outside of maybe, that's right.
Even though Caitlyn Clark broke records with 19 million viewers in a single game and her merchandise sales are still untapped, Nike rushed to release Paige Bueckers' merchandise first, leaving fans in shock. Could this have cost Nike millions of dollars? Keep checking back, because this is a really explosive tale.
Obviously, one of them still at UConn. One of them has had one of the three greatest rookie seasons of all time in the WNBA. One of them signed a big deal with Nike.
During her NCAA game versus South Carolina, Caitlyn Clark drew 19 million people. For a sport like women's basketball, where obtaining public exposure is sometimes a hard struggle, this is the sort of crowd that rivals NBA playoffs. The impact of Caitlyn is her ability to dominate on the court has made her a household figure, and her marketability is unrivaled. Monumental fans are drawn to her not just because of her skills, but also because of her personality and the excitement she brings to the game.
The other one is still on like the college deal with Nike that was signed years ago. Caitlyn Clark obviously had signed the college deal a while.
However, there is a crucial distinction. Paige Bueckers, a rising star from the University of Connecticut, has also drawn recognition for her talent. Although Paige is clearly talented and has a growing fan base, her influence is still limited to the collegiate level. She hasn't yet achieved the same level of commercial success as Caitlyn, so why did Nike decide to release Paige's merchandise first? It's not as simple as it might seem.
I would ask you this question. One of them has a proven track record of every single piece of merchandise that they put their name to sells out in a flash.
Let's examine the market potential of Caitlyn Clark. She broke records, enthralled audiences, and converted casual viewers into diehard supporters during her historic debut season in the WNBA. Everything connected to Caitlyn, from shirts to hoodies, has regularly sold out, frequently within hours of its introduction. The numbers speak for themselves. Thus, this isn't conjecture. It should have been obvious for Nike to align with Caitlyn Clark because she is a cultural icon and represents excellence, determination, and the future of women's basketball. Despite this, Nike seems to have messed up. Caitlyn's ability to sell merchandise isn't just about her popularity. It's also about her connection with fans.
Has signed a long-term deal with Nike that Nike are screwing her by giving her only $3 million a year when she's probably worth closer to $20 million a year.
Now, let's talk about Paige Bueckers. Her talent as a guard for UConn is undeniable. Her skills and poise on the court, her ability to perform under pressure, and her charisma have made her one of the most exciting players in college basketball. It's obvious why Nike would want to work with her, but the question is, Ms., why prioritize Paige over Caitlyn? With considerable fanfare, Paige's unique goods collection debuted. With sleek, contemporary designs that appealed to her fan base, Nike's marketing machine went into overdrive to promote her as the face of their women's basketball division. The collection received a lot of positive feedback on social media, however, not all fans were delighted. Although PA is clearly skilled, her financial effect isn't yet comparable to Caitlyn's. Critics claimed that Nike was gambling on potential rather than capitalizing on demonstrated success, and PA's clothing launch appeared premature. Many people were perplexed by this choice and questioned Nike's motives. Swift supporters responded to the outrage by using social media to vent their annoyance and disappointment. Comments such as, "Where's Caitlyn's merchandise?" and "Nike is ignoring their biggest star" flooded social media sites like Twitter and Instagram for many. This wasn't just a small mistake. It was a flagrant disdain for Caitlyn's contributions to the sport. One of the most prevalent opinions among fans was that Nike's decision was out of touch. By putting aside her Nike, Caitlyn Clark, a player who has transcended the sport to become a cultural icon, has emerged as the face of women's basketball. Why take the chance of upsetting a sizable fan base? The choice also spurred discussions on justice and acknowledgement, with many contending that Caitlyn's achievements merited greater credit. So why would Nike make this choice? There are several hypotheses. Logistics: product rollouts may take months or even years to organize and carry out, according to some. Fans don't like the idea that PA's line was already in production before to Caitlyn's ascent to fame. Caitlyn's influence has been apparent for years, and Nike ought to have been ready to take advantage of her achievements. Internal politics was the subject of another theory. There are a number of well-known athletes on Nike's roster, and some insiders think that internal disputes may have caused Caitlyn's products to be delayed. There is also conjecture that other athletes may have mistakenly or purposely impacted the decision. Although this may appear implausible, it illustrates the difficulties of running a company the size of Nike. Lastly, it's possible that Nike is postponing Caitlyn's debut in order to save her stuff for a bigger campaign. They may be preparing a more substantial rollout that optimizes her market potential, but this is a risky decision that could pay off in the long run. Fans are already becoming antsy, and Nike runs the danger of losing their following the longer they wait. Losing momentum is one of Nike's biggest threats. Caitlyn Clark is at the height of her fame, and every game she plays and every record she breaks adds to her legacy. Fans want to help her, but if Nike doesn't prioritize Paige Bueckers, they won't be able to. Nike is taking a risk by assuming that fans would wait for Caitlyn's products, but in a world when alternatives are plenty and attention spans are short, that is risky. The emergence of unauthorized Caitlyn Clark memorabilia is exacerbating this problem. Fans who are dissatisfied with the dearth of licensed products have resorted to independent manufacturers producing jerseys, shirts, and other items. This controversy isn't just about Caitlyn Clark and Paige Bueckers. It's about Nike's reputation as a brand for decades. The underground market is booming, and Nike is losing out on millions of dollars in potential revenue every day by delaying Caitlyn's merchandise launch. Nike has been regarded as a pioneer in sports marketing and a business that knows players and their supporters, but this choice has many wondering if Nike has lost its advantage in a cutthroat industry. Such errors are too costly for brands to make. If Nike doesn't change tactics quickly, they run the danger of losing Caitlyn Clark to a rival, and if that occurs, it's very impossible to get her back. Adidas, Under Armour, and other businesses are always searching for ways to get an advantage. The criticism of Nike's choice to give Paige Bueckers products priority over Caitlyn Clark's is becoming more widespread and involves more than simply irate fans expressing their worries. Caitlyn Clark's dominance on the court and her marketability off it are undeniable. The question isn't just why Nike made this move, but also whether they can recover from it before it's too late. Analysts, sports commentators, and even former athletes are weighing in and calling it one of Nike's most puzzling marketing decisions in years. In addition to being a fantastic basketball player, Caitlyn Clark is a sensation. Her style of play, which is characterized by deep three-pointers, deft passing, and unparalleled court vision, has enthralled audiences well beyond the typical women's basketball fan base. Her popularity skyrocketed throughout her time in college, culminating in a game versus South Carolina that drew an incredible 19 million viewers, a number that is comparable to some important NBA games. Fans are drawn to Caitlyn's unquestionable charisma, which extends beyond her on-court accomplishments. Her interviews reveal a player who is not just gifted but also approachable, self-assured, and composed. Nike, a business that takes pride in recognizing and marketing these icons, seem to have completely misread the room despite pressure brands' ideal of athletes like Caitlyn Clark becoming cultural heroes that transcend their sport. By delaying the release of merchandise, Nike is not only losing millions of dollars, but also jeopardizing the goodwill of her supporters. Caitlyn's ability to sell merchandise is proven. Jerseys, hoodies, and other clothing bearing her name or likeness sell out almost instantly. She has a devoted and passionate fan base ready to support her at every turn. The distribution of Paige Bueckers goods was a full-fledged marketing rather than a low-key introduction. Nike's marketing department worked hard to promote her brand, which featured fans of Paige praised the collection for its contemporary aesthetic and connection to her personal brand, but the launch wasn't without its critics. Many fans perceived the timing of PA's rollout as a slight to Caitlyn Clark. To them, it wasn't just about the designs or the marketing, it was also about what the decision represented. Despite her brilliance, Paige hasn't yet attained the same degree of economic success or cultural influence as Caitlyn. It seemed like a mistake to prioritize her goods above the obvious in favor of the speculative. Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok were inundated with postings criticizing Nike for their choice. Using hashtags like #wears Caitlyn's merchandise and #memes ridiculing Nike's marketing team went viral, depicting the company as out of touch with its audience. This wasn't just a small group of vocal fans. Prominent sports analysts and commentators joined the conversation, challenging Nike's priorities and highlighting the obvious oversight in their strategy for a company as big and powerful as Nike. This type of bad press is a danger to their brand's reputation rather than merely a PR problem. One of the harshest comments came from inside the basketball community itself. Former coaches and players publicly questioned why Nike would bench an established talent like Caitlyn Clark. While Nike drags its time, an underground market for unlicensed Caitlyn Clark items has emerged. While some thought that internal politics or long-term planning could have played a part, the consensus was that Nike had misjudged. For jerseys, t-shirts, and other goods, fans wanting to promote their favorite player have resorted to independent makers. These products, which are sometimes offered through tiny online stores or social media platforms, have become incredibly popular. The rise of unofficial merchandise also raises concerns about Nike's ability to maintain control over its brand. As more fans turn to alternative sources for Caitlyn Clark gear, the company risks losing its status as the go-to provider for high-quality, authentic sports apparel for a brand that built its reputation on innovation and connection with athletes. This phenomenon isn't specific to Caitlyn, but it highlights the missed opportunity for Nike every day. They're ceding ground to these independent sellers. The absence of official Caitlyn Clark goods has sparked a lot of conjecture about what's actually happening at Nike behind closed doors. According to certain views, logistical difficulties might be the cause.